Good evening. We'll call the city zoning board of appeals for Tuesday, September 10th. We'll call the meeting to order. It is 7:06. Roll call: Dave Martin. Present. Bob Phoenix. Present. Ed Auerbach. Present. Guy Travers.
Present.
Mark Benjamin present. You have a quorum. We have 5 members. All will be seated and voting. Communication? No. Acceptance of the August 13th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Motion to accept as written.
I'll second it. Dottie.
Motion made and seconded. All those who accept as present, any errors, omissions, or corrections?
None I saw.
I can't talk. All those in favor will accept as presented. Dave? Aye. Bob?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Dottie?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Meetings are accepted as presented. Old business. V2407 continued from August 13th. 15 Clinton Ave request relief from zoning regulation 4.8.3 to allow for the enlargement of a building dedicated to a non-conforming residential use in the general commercial zone by the construction of a 14 by 24 addition and allow the expansion of the non-conforming use within. Property of Russell Palazzo, Wendy Marceau, application of Russell Palazzo and Wendy Marceau. Assessors map 58, block 2, lots 41, general commercial zone. Rich.
Okay. And the exhibit list is number 1, the application, 2, the site sketch, 3, elevation views, 4, floor plan, 5, pictures of the house, 6 is the assessor's field card, 7, the butters letter and notice of public hearing, 8, legal notice, 9 is meeting agenda, 10 is a butters map, 11 is the GIS and FEMA overlay, and then there was one that was added that's not on the list, which is the letter that was submitted from the abutter. Which I had. It's in the package. It's not this see because I know I emailed it to everybody.
Yeah, I had it last week, but it's not.
It wasn't that package.
Yeah, it's not a negative.
I can take copies of this.
Yeah.
Yes. Already have a copy. Want to start before we get that letter?
We know what the contents are, so.
Okay. Well, I think we can start. I'll read it.
Yep.
It'll be part of the exhibit. Applicant, please come forward. Explain to the board what you'd like, name and address for the record. Explain to the board what you'd like to do.
Peter Jake, you know,
Oh, no, for this one.
that one?
15,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're behind me. Take one second. I'll jump right in for you.
Wendy Marceau, Russ Palazzo, owners of 15 Clinton Avenue in Norwich, Connecticut, 06360.
All right, have a seat. Explain to the board what you'd like to do,
So
why you need a variance to do it.
basically, you know, I think when we got the property 25 years ago, I don't think the zoning was changed. I think it was residential at the time.
A new station alert has arrived.
So I think over the years, the zoning changed, just like, you know, Bean Hill Package Store got put in. Seric was never there when we owned it, and neither was Bean Hill Package Store. Those were all houses out front. And I know this because I delivered the paper to all of them at 15 years old. Okay, so that said, we rented the property for the past probably 15 years because it was not big enough for us to bring up children in it. 670 square feet. We're looking to make it 970 square feet, just under 1,000 with the addition. So that being said, I think the one, I talked to all the neighbors, we get along great. The only one who's complaining is the new owners of Sarah. And pretty much you can read the complaints. I don't think they're legitimate complaints, but that's up to the board to decide.
So you want to put a 14 by 24 addition on it. What's the addition going to be used for?
Living space? Just basically living. The 670 square feet is not big enough. That's why we brought the kids up. There's another residence.
Well, most of it's living, I think the floor plan, just there's a couple closets, there's storage too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
storage.
storage living.
Bob?
Yeah, my comments, questions. Can you explain all the equipment that Sarah is complaining about in the front of the house?
I can. Okay, so basically, there's 2 trailers there, right? And both of those leave when I go back to Florida. I stay for 5 months, and I go back to Florida. 7.5, sometimes 4.5. Both of us go. So the red trailer was left by a tenant, and you know, it's on our property. It's not on Sarah's property. The only trailer that was on Sarah's property was the aluminum trailer, and you can see in the picture. And that aluminum trailer, the previous president, her name was Michelle. She was the president of the board. And we had a good relationship. I used to go over and cut their lawn and fix their daytime, nighttime lights because they didn't know how to fix the timer. Anyway, there's a new board there. I talked to Michelle a couple of weeks ago and I wondered why they sent this complaint in. And she said, I'm not the president anymore, Russ. She goes, they have a new president. And they've never even approached me to move anything. And so basically they let me leave that trailer till we left. And then when I left, she said, that'd be great because now we can plow the lot. So she said, and if you don't take it, just make sure you put it on your property. And that way there, you know, everything worked out well. And I take it back anyway. The trailer doesn't stay there. The only one that was staying there was the red one. Right now, we're just kind of throwing storage stuff in it.
The reason I ask is that based on this application, I did go by the property and it was on a Sunday, and on that particular Sunday, there was also a box truck in their parking lot. Was that yours or was that theirs?
No, what they do, everybody that pulls into Bean Hill Package Store, yeah, I know, because we clean up bottles constantly from, you know, I mean, there's nips all over it, and I constantly clean it up. Wendy cleans it up. They pull in there all the time. They don't see what happens from 5 o'clock in the evening on. We do because we live there. So there's a lot of state trucks pulling there. They hide in the back so they're not seen getting nips. Okay, this is what goes
Let me
on.
hold for just a second. Sir, can I have you silence your phone, please? Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
So that's not, the box truck is not That's someone that's pulled in to go to the package store.
Okay. My next question is for staff. Was there, when this property was subdivided, was there some sort of agreement on the part of CIRAC that screening was going to be provided, or?
So the history of the property, in my opinion, is confusing and convoluted. Where CIRAC is currently constructed was a house. The site plan for when they approved that new commercial building, I believe, so at one point, the property in the back where the house is was a separate property, and it was larger. There was a lot line revision done, which gave some land to the shopping mall down below. So there was that lot line revision. There's very limited mapping because they didn't file maps, and it's unclear. The site plan for the commercial building actually has screening on this lot. Now, on that site plan, where the boundary line is and where I believe it probably always was when it was a separate lot, was a zone change. So this property was multifamily zone. It was all changed. The zoning changed.
For a second, what do you mean by screening? Are you talking about fencing?
Fencing, yeah.
Well, there was some trees for screening, which actually was on this property. Subsequently, there's been a garage built and those trees have come down, but that screening for the commercial building is actually on this property. And honestly, I think what happened was Mr. Palazzo was offered this property for sale. When they did the first approval, it was it's the record. I looked through the record. It's unclear. There's nothing on the maps. There's nothing in the record saying the properties have to be merged. Today, we wouldn't let that go like that. There would be a note as to why, property, it was developed as one piece, but it ended up being sold. Mr. Palazzo's owned the property for years as it is. To try to go back and force a merger, they're under separate ownerships. So it is what it is. And the property has an easement to access it.
Right. Yeah, that, can I just pop this out? You and I talked a couple times. I had lots of questions about that. Honestly, my concern was that I didn't want to see this committee proving something that would require this gentleman and his wife to cross boundaries. I wanted to be sure that there was a right of way in place, and that it was permanent, and that it and so it took a couple times for us to talk about that, to finally see that, and we got to do some digging to come up with that.
Right, I think I sent it to you.
Yeah. I was a little bit confused about about CIRAC. I mean, if you read their letter, at least one of the things they talk about is it sounds like the right of way, little dirt road right of way. It sounds like that's not being used all the time. That's what they were complaining about.
And I'd like to rectify that situation. I took a picture. A lot of times, CIRAC's employee block that right away. We have no way to get in. You could pass this around. This is today. Took that picture today, and I've got it in my phone. We have no way to get in, and those are CIRAC's employees.
Got to add an exhibit letter to that.
Oh,
Anything you give us, we got it.
Okay, so you're saying that little car, the car next to the dumpster is over by the front of that dirt.
That's the right of way, and it happens more often than not.
I think the other thing too is your cousin, who is one of our leasers for a while, was talking to her a couple weeks ago. She said when it does snow, because it's not very enough lately, but she has been there when there's been a lot of snow and they plow the entire driveway is blocked too. So
And they block it
different
off.
times when,
So they don't plow the dirt. They don't.
Exactly.
No, because that's ours.
Right.
Yeah, that's the right
Well,
way.
Yeah,
right up
by
by
the
the
dumpster.
dumpster.
Right by the dumpster.
Oh,
Where that dirt road is, right?
Gotcha.
Would have to
Yeah.
pull up the GIS.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to
I
see
understand that makes
To
sense.
show the right of way. Because the right of way is actually
Clinton Avenue.
on Clinton, and it's part of the liquor store, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Well, I meant the stone portion of the driveway,
so,
because they have kind of a, let's get this. Up here. I'll show you.
Share this.
It took me a couple times to actually find that place.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
that's the biggest problem with mail gets sent back.
I believe it.
Packages are showing. We pretty much thank the UPS guy every time he comes.
This monitor is way too small.
So, yeah, so the right of way,
Yes,
uh,
yeah, that's it.
can you hover over the liquor store property?
That's this property here.
Right, yeah, so that, okay, so that's a notch, so.
Yep.
It's the liquor store's responsibility to plow that, and you're saying that Sarac, which is to the left there,
No,
plows that in.
let me correct that. That's not the liquor stores right away, right there.
No, that's your right of way.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I get that. But you say that Sarac, when it snows, usually
They won't
snow
plow
up
it.
against that.
Well, they block it, that's.
They
the problem.
block it.
don't
They,
have to
they
plow
actually
it.
build
Because
a bank up
Because
there.
they don't
You
plow on the
can't
dirt
use
road.
it. So
Exactly.
Yeah,
what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to address the points that Sarac made in their objection.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's clear that, a lot of this is not detrimental to your application. So I've got most of my answers, questions answered, so I thank you for that.
Have you guys in Sierra had any kind of discussions one-on-one to try to, come to some
I
kind
had
of
a great
agreement?
relationship with them until the new president of the board took over, and that was not too long ago, maybe 4 months ago.
I don't think we really knew there was a new owner until.
We didn't
came
know
last
until
month
we
and there was
called
the letter.
previous
So you went
president.
over the next day to say,
Yep.
something, and you called Michelle, so.
And I tried to make contact with the new president, to see if we can, rectify the situation there. And we don't mind using our right of way, except when the employees block it. We can't make that turn. As you can see, that's a pretty sharp turn right there. And actually, we gotta come even closer to make that turn. So the previous president, board of directors, she was fine with us coming through West Town Street. He goes, don't worry about it when my employees park there, or we got a real busy park on. We kind of had a good relationship, but I'm working, getting a relationship back with the new president.
Yeah, well,
Yes. So the right of way that we see on the GIS map is just the lines drawn on the
Yeah.
map. So they are actually on maps that are on file. It is actually defined on survey maps.
right, which is what I was, going back and forth with you on. I
Yeah.
wanted to see it on
Yeah.
some kind of historical document that
Yeah.
actually showed it.
Yeah, so they are
maybe-
defined.
Anything else for Dottie?
No,
Dottie, any questions?
No, I'm all set.
I appreciate Dave, anything else?
no, I don't think I do.
No, as I read this, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to look at it, but I'm kind of like more concerned with the variance. Some of this just looks like neighbor relations problems.
Right. That's what I was trying to.
To me, if he's parking and blocking my driveway and pushing snow, let's talk about the let's talk
Exactly.
about the, you've got 672 square feet. you're looking to make 900 square feet. Is that like a one bedroom or a two bedroom or?
No, it's just living space. It's
No,
gonna
but
be,
what's the
oh, it's
property?
it's a one bedroom right now,
Okay,
one bath.
Yeah.
Very small kitchen. I mean, 670 square feet, it's not much. And we're looking to add 200 square feet to it. So 970 be the total.
is that all we're looking for, Rich, is to change? And we only here because residential in the neighborhood commercial or general commercial?
Correct.
There's nothing else. We're not too close to boundaries. We're not overbuilding lot space by making this bigger.
No, it's to allow the enlargement of the building dedicated to non-conforming residential use in the general commercial zone by the construction of the 14 by 24 addition.
Okay.
So there's no setback issues. It meets the zone setbacks. It's the non-conforming use and the expansion.
And how long have you guys had that as a residential use?
Over 25 years.
I'm not trying to.
Nope, I'm
No,
right there with you.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
mean, not directly.
all the way
like
back
that.
to
No, yeah,
1992,
okay.
this card.
May I interrupt and speak? This is Susan Radway, Chairperson of CREC Board of Directors.
Not yet.
Okay, thank you.
We'll allow you to speak once we get to it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. The right of way is the edge point. That's your legal access into this property?
Correct.
Okay. And how wide is that right of way?
About 12 feet.
Okay. Anything else? Dave?
Is the dirt road private road? Is that your road?
Yes.
I think about that too, because it doesn't mention, plowing. So in the winter time, if you can get in there and plow it, you would plow it? Have you done that?
We got I have a snow blower. And, yeah, we can do it with a
That's
snow
what
blower.
you would access
And I have a plow
you would
too.
access your property.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dottie?
No, I'm all set. I have the paperwork from last month when I was at the meeting.
Shot at me for not being
No. I feel like it's a problem with the both neighbors there. If the gentleman has the right of way, then he should be able to access it with no problem. It shouldn't be blocked. I mean, legally, that's his property and his access. Oh, to me, I don't know, that it's a problem between the both people. Not, that's my opinion. And if the gentleman wants to put an addition on, that shouldn't be a problem. For the size, it's not that big. It's only 600 square feet now. He's only putting about 285. So like I said, it should be okay. I shouldn't be fighting here. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Anything
You're
else
welcome.
you'd like to add?
No, we're good.
And we're gonna take testimony from additional people, unless you guys have some questions. Anyone else to speak in favor of this appeal? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Is there any opposition? And I have a feeling this is where Ms. Radway might wanna be unmuted.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. You name it for the record, please, and what your concerns are.
Yes, I'd like to note that I have not received any contact from the person requesting this variance, and no messages that someone has tried to reach me through the CREC telephone number. I'd be happy to talk with him.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Susan Radway. on behalf of CRAC 228 West Town Street, Norwich.
Okay.
So I have made some notes regarding the things related to parking and access, which I was unaware of. The last director left 2 years ago. There was a director since then that had told me she had been in communication with them. But my greatest concern is not about, I do agree, those things can be resolved by conversation. My concern is the size of the construction equipment that's necessary to go through the right-of-way and in through the right-of-way is part of the CRAC parking lot, which is full on most days with 12 or so staff and any visitors that happen to be there. How that will take place safely for people's vehicles, for people going in and out of the parking lot, et cetera. That's my greatest concern.
Okay. Anything else is? All right, thank you. Is there anyone else to speak in opposition? Any opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none, I'll afford the applicant a moment or two to possibly answer any questions that have come up or.
Sure, I'd be willing to work with Susan on the right of way and when you have meetings that I worked with Michelle in the past, and when she had 20, 30 cars in there, she would just say, you know, Russ, can you do this? And I'd be happy to move whatever you'd like to be moved, Susan. If you want to just give me a heads up when you get the big meetings, I'm fine with that.
I also don't think we're expecting a lot of super heavy equipment to come in.
Yeah,
You know, what we're looking to do does not involve putting in a basement area or, you know, a foundation that's, you know, pylon.
yeah.
It's not like we have, you know, major cement deliveries that we're expecting or anything like that. It's not going to be that big of a structure. It's one story and, you know.
Any questions from the board before I make a motion?
Yeah, I would. Actually, relates, it would be a condition of approval.
You can suggest it to the applicant, I think, would have a concern, because once we get there, we can't address them.
Oh, so I should do that now.
You could suggest it.
All right, yeah, my question actually would be to the applicant. Is if your application is approved, would you be at all adverse to directing your construction crews to use the appropriate right of way? And
Absolutely,
make sure
I
they
will
meet.
definitely, yeah, we'll
Okay.
have them use the right of way. Yeah.
And that was.
Okay. Dottie, anything else before I call the move on this?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
I just want to clarify that the certified mail receipt shows that the letter was, the certified letter that's statutorily required was mailed on August 29th, I believe it was. No, sorry, June 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to clarify because she said she
Right.
hadn't received anything. The mailed receipt shows that it was mailed.
So just for the record and everybody understands, although it was June 29th, that was to represent the August meeting. And because the August meeting was continued, that notification carries over. So they didn't have to remail or re-notify everybody, correct? Correct. Okay. So everybody, all the butters were properly notified. Correct. And you have cards to recognize that. All right. Anything else to add? Hearing that nobody has any questions, I think the motion to
Motion to
hearing?
close.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Delay. Motion by Bob and second by Ed. Third by Dottie. All those in favor to close? Dave,
Bob, Pete, aye.
Ed, Dottie,
Aye.
Mark Benjamin, motion's closed. Thank you. We're gonna hear all three and then we will go to deliberations. You guys want to stick around to see how it goes, you can. We're not gonna take any additional testimony from anybody that wants to go to deliberations. Thank you. Thank you. Application B 2408, Tina Hagerman, 415 Raymond Hill Road. Property located at 68 North Wickus Hill Road. Trying to read it the hard way. I think it's cheap. Request zoning relief from zoning regulations, section 1.1, to reduce front yard setback from 60 feet to 45 feet. To construct a 20 by 39 foot addition to the rear of the home. Property of Tina Hagerman, application Tina Hagerman. Assessors map 82, block 1, lot 37, zoning regulations are.
And the exhibits. Yeah, one is the applications. 2 is the owner authorization form for the contractor who's here representing for this evening. 3 is the site sketch. 4 is the assessor field card. 5 is the abutters letter notice of public hearing. 6 is the legal notice. 7 is the abutters map.
Would the applicant please come forward, name and address for the board? What
Peter
you like?
Jake, my address is 8600 Avenue.
Why, what you'd like to do, and why you need a variance to do it?
The house was built in 1950. Since then, the zoning laws have changed. Setback now on North Wickus Hill Road is 60 feet. The back of the house is at 45 feet. It's a, used to, I guess when they built it, it was a 3-bedroom, but the bedroom's about this big. People that own it now, it's a 1-bedroom house. There's 1 bedroom, the walk-in closet, the other bedroom's part of the living room. But the Tina's son has 2 children. They're all living in a 1-bedroom house. The living room's only this, but the house is small. I have up-to-date pictures on my phone. I took last night. The house is small. They're looking to add 2 bedrooms and a bath and a full bath on the back of the house. They spoke with all the neighbors or you have cards from all the neighbors. Everybody's all for the addition, because if you look at the 2 houses next door, they're 4 times the size of that little tiny house, you know. So it looks like a chicken coop compared to the neighbors. Look at the house like a chicken coop. And like I say, there's 3 children, there's 2 children and mom and dad in a 1-bedroom. But the whole house is non-compliant. It's non-compliance. So what do? I come to you.
No matter where you wanted to put an addition, even if you wanted to go up, you still
I still need you.
you still need a variance.
I still need you.
Rich? Yeah, no, this one I looked at.
Can you explain the dotted
That- This dotted line right here.
The stones,
Oh,
or fence or.
Oh, it's a
yeah,
fence.
that's probably a fence.
Okay,
That's
there-
part of
Oh,
the
those are fences, okay. And the second building down the bottom, is that detached garage, or is that a neighbor?
This one here?
Yeah.
That's a garage.
What is? So we're fighting with the front yard setback?
Yep.
Okay. So in the backyard, we got acres.
I got acres, there's plenty of land out
Side
there.
yards are good.
Yeah.
Side's good, and so we're putting an addition on the back of the
Back
house
of the house.
that impacts the front yard setback.
Yes.
See a little jog out and sit.
Yeah.
For the whole house is within the
Okay.
existing houses within
The whole
that.
house is
right.
non-compliant.
Yeah, it took me a
Right.
while to figure that out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the way it is now, you can't build, I can't build a set of stairs in the back of the house.
Right, right. Okay.
I mean, I can leave 15 for a gap and put 2 bedrooms out in the backyard somewhere, but but you just not gonna make
But
it
you
do that.
still need a variance to put a walkway between. them.
Oh, yeah, see?
Covered walkway.
Covered walkway, yeah, that's right.
So,
Dave? Bob? Ed?
No questions.
Dottie?
You're muted, Donnie.
Muted.
No, I'm muted. I'm okay. No questions.
Thanks.
This is just gonna be a single story.
Single story. But I have the floor plan with me, but see a little jog on the back of the house? Oops.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
There you go. Good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
See what says 13?
Mhm.
So coming off the wall to the left, 13 feet, we don't go into the edge of the house going back in. It's just with that little bath, that little jog off the bathroom. Everything on this house is an add-on. The original building was 20 by 24, and then they added 17 by 17 kitchen, then they added 7 by 7 bathroom. So we're gonna come up that jog out 13 feet, or 39 feet, 20 feet, and then come back to the house for 7 feet. So everything's, the whole addition's at the back of the house.
Right.
Okay, so we're actually extending towards Cranberry Pond Road, the
No,
profile of the house by
towards,
7 feet.
Which one's Cranberry?
Up on
It's
top.
a couple of feet, yeah, it's a couple of
Yeah.
feet. Oh, but everything else is coming to the back of the
Yeah,
wood.
but
And he doesn't have half the lot cleared.
what you're trying to do is, I'm a little confused about the 60-foot. What is, oh, that's the setback.
It's a dotted line.
And
it's
you're,
just- that's the
so you're
setback.
looking for a reduction of 15 feet.
Yes,
The existing
Okay,
house is.
Because the back of the house is 45
We just
feet.
ran
Okay,
up.
I get it. All right. Yeah, we get confused about these a lot. Where we're looking for construction on the back of a property that has a front, restricted front right of way. Or in setback. So. Okay, I'm clear.
Any questions? No. Anything else you'd like to add? Sit tight for a second. Anyone else to speak in favor of this appeal? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Hearing none. Is there anyone to speak in opposition? Any opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none. Again, once we close it, you can't add anything else. So if there's anything else you'd like to say, here's your chance.
that's pretty much, you know what it is. It's the whole house is not complying, they want to add 2 bedrooms.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to close?
Motion to close, Bob Phoenix.
Dottie, you gonna second that one quick?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Motion by Dave and seconded by Dottie. All those in favor, vote. Dave? Aye. Bob?
Bye-bye.
Ed?
Aye.
Dottie?
Dottie, aye.
Mark Benjamin, aye. Unanimous, motion closed.
Is there an extra 12 knots package over there? Okay.
Thank you. Same thing. We're gonna move it.
Yeah.
We'll hear the last one,
2-9.
then we'll go to
2 nines?
deliberations.
2 nines?
And if you want to stick around, you can hear it. How it
Yeah,
goes.
okay. Yes.
Another 15 to 20
Yeah,
minutes.
that one.
I'll hang out.
Yeah, this is.
Gentlemen, sorry about my phone earlier, I couldn't control the calls. Everything for meeting takes 15 seconds.
Application B 2409, 12 Mopsic Street. I have one. Okay, got it. Request zoning regulation, section 1.1, to reduce the side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet, rear yard setback from 25 to 5 for the construction of a 24 by 24 garage. We read from zoning regulation 1.1 to reduce front yard setback from 25 to 5. Is that saying the same thing?
It's 2 buildings.
Oh, it's 2 buildings,
Yes.
okay. Rear yard setback 25 to 5 for the construction of a 10 by 16 shed. Shouldn't read further. Relief from section 1.1 to increase the total lot coverage from 15.2, 26.75, where 25% is allowed. Property of John Hank, application John Hank, assessors map 109, lot 3, lot 29, multifamily. the applicant please come forward, name and address for the record? John Haynes, 12 Nelson Street. Explain to the board what you'd like to do, why you need a variance to do it.
Well, I would like to construct a 24 by 24 garage in the rear, and I need a variance for the setbacks, obviously. And it would be a 2-story garage. The first floor would be 12 foot high. Reason being, I would like to put a lift in one thing, because I've got a classic car. I do my own work, and I got a classic car. I'd like to go up at my parents' house right now. I don't have the room to do it. And then the other bay would be for our main vehicle. And then the second floor would be for like woodworking equipment I got, like a table saw, bandsaw, your arm saw, so it'd be a little workshop up there for woodworking.
You sent this picture, I think that was something that's similar.
Well, it's not really gonna, it's that style, but that's not from the barnyard. The barnyard would be building it from the.
I thought it was already there.
Oh, well,
We see a lot of those.
Richard found that online for me, and it really wasn't.
Trying to
It's
find
gonna be
something
nicer
that
than
kind
that.
of represented what
Okay.
his vision
No,
was.
we see too many of them the other way.
Okay.
And then the shed would be for a, for like lawnmower,
Snow
snow blower, and some, patio furniture. And
So is there a shed where the garage is
no,
going now?
that shed is gone.
It's there at the moment, but you're gonna take it down.
No,
No, we
it's-
already took
oh,
it
it's
down,
already
it's
down?
Yeah.
gone, either all the material's gone, and it's
Yeah,
gone.
that's been going for like 5-6 years.
Yeah,
How do you access the 2-bay garage? Where are the bays?
Well, the bay would be in the front
Okay.
of the garage. It'll be one big door because,
One big door right there.
yes, it'd be like a 16-foot door.
And do you have a driveway right there?
yeah, right
Yeah.
by the retaining wall there, the concrete.
Yeah, I had a paved driveway put in up to the front of the house.
Okay.
So I could access through here.
I did drive by there, and you were really close by one big rock walls, looks like.
Yeah. just
Oh, in the
recently
front.
had it done.
Yeah, it looks like all sides on me, but I assume those are gonna stay.
Oh, yeah,
So, yeah,
we had it, kind of leveled because the.
you talk about
lot
the front,
was-
all that new stonework? Yeah.
The lot was not leveled, it was, on a hill.
Right.
So we had it kind of leveled, so it looks really high on the outside, one of the walls, and it's not, on the inside, it's like, probably not even 3 feet. Right?
No, so-
All right, I was trying to find a street view, picture of the house, and it sent me over to Union Street. So
You use your location.
I could pull that up. If
you got it,
you like,
yeah.
yeah.
In the meantime, the lawn equipment, where's that being stored at the moment?
Under the bed,
Under the deck.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Is that the street view?
Yeah, I gotta share this.
Yeah.
That's an old, very old picture.
Yeah.
So this is,
So the stones that I was thinking about are not even shown.
yeah, they're gonna be,
No,
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah, okay.
That's your house, or that was your house, or that is?
that is the house.
that's,
Oh, I see, okay.
You see
All
what I'm
right.
talking about?
we can pass it around.
You wanna pass that around?
That-
I'm good on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I would suggest, when you suggested a, 2-story garage, I was looking for the massing, for the area, but you have that huge 2-family next to you, and, it looks like it's going uphill on Summit Street, is that right? So the next house is higher than you are?
Yes.
All the houses around us are pretty much higher except for across the street, that little blue one.
Yeah, that was my only area of concern.
My question is, have you, why two separate buildings versus one a little larger? Maybe?
Well, that's definitely possible,
Yeah,
just
that's
as-
not that's, we could work with that.
because the
I'm just-
barnyard, we designed and
It's just
engineered them, so I could.
what, or what, why, it's just,
But I really, I mean,
I'm just asking if was any, why maybe it's curiosity as much as anything, why two separate versus, one?
I don't think there was a rhyme or reason. It was
well,
just,
if I did one, it would have to
storage
extend
and-
to Summit Street, that. would be a s-
Okay.
Because I do have a deck there and a
Oh, okay.
patio, so
Okay.
that's. But that's one of the reasons I guess.
Okay,
why it's
so
separate building.
the existing,
And that shed could be a little smaller too. I'm just,
Well, it would still be built within the setback that you're
Yes.
requiring, you're asking for.
like be a 6'10" by 14 or something, but
And the driveway for your house or to the garage is currently on the right side of the building as you look at the building?
no, my original garage under the house is off of Summer Street.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Okay, and how would you access where would the garage door orientation be on this illustration?
So it would be the right
On
side.
the 24-foot side?
Yes.
Okay.
And that driveway was shown in the picture. That,
So the driveway, it's
It's
concrete,
a utility drive, yeah.
that's what the driveway,
Yeah,
not existing.
yes.
All right.
I've got a question for Rich. Did you do any of the math, Rich? How big could the shed be to maintain the 25%? I mean, we're talking with
So-
fractions.
So the garage, originally, here's all my mathematical calculations. So originally, with the garage by itself proposed was 24.3%.
Okay.
Adding the shed brings it up to the 26.75.
So just from the conversations over here, maybe it could be smaller, maybe making it one building. What could we do to minimize the impact of what we're asking for and still make a reasonable accommodation?
it sounds like the, you know,
Not much.
Not
Not
much,
much.
no.
Not much.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right, so if you had a two-car garage and you want a little extra storage for lawnmowers, you're gonna exceed your percentage.
Right.
So,
Right.
because 24 by 24 is just enough for two cars, doesn't really give you much for,
no, opening the doors.
yeah, it just doesn't
Right.
give much extra.
Okay, no, I'm just,
That's why thank you for asking, that was,
because I was looking at it the same thing. We're asking for a little bit here and a little bit there, and our objective is what's the minimum to make it work? Not, I want to build a Taj Mahal. And, if we had said, hey, maybe a 10 by 14 got us there, but it's probably close to 28 by 8.
right, that's not reasonable.
Yeah,
Right.
so. But I like to have these discussions, so when we get into a final discussion, we can justify what we're doing. Because I kind of like the idea of putting just a bump out on the garage, like, I think that's what you were looking at.
That's what, yeah, or making it,
and that's definitely doable.
you know, but with looking at their, existing deck on the backside, I understand why you would, that would limit your movement around your building, the deck.
And yeah, like on the side below that deck is like a 12 by 12 patio.
Okay.
Yeah, but the deck is basically on the second floor. The
Yes.
patio is on the ground level,
Yes.
and the patio is underneath the deck.
No, the
no.
patio is like,
When you go down, the stairs are on the side of the deck, and you come down and carry it.
So
they can walk right out.
in that 10th section where the patio is, where you had that 10-foot.
Yeah, but closer to,
Nice.
Dave?
I'm good now.
I'm good. Ed? Good. Dottie?
Nope, I'm all set.
Anything else you'd like to add?
no, I don't think so.
You have a lot of free time or a lot of stones? I mean, man.
No, his wife probably wanted a garden, and then he was left with all this rock. Wow. Connecticut grows rocks.
Yes, I know. All right.
It
Yes,
keeps
you
my
will.
yard between the purple.
Okay.
Is there anyone else to speak in favor of this appeal? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Hearing none. Is there anyone to speak in opposition? Any opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none. Can I get a motion? Any other questions? Nothing you'd like to add?
Motion to close.
Motion made to close. Dottie?
Yes, close it.
Second by Dottie. All those in favor to close, Dave? Aye. Bob?
Aye.
Ed? Aye. Dottie?
Aye.
Mark Benjamin, aye. Hearing's closed, unanimous. All right, move right, you guys are all set? Stick around 10 minutes, get right through them all. Application V 2407, and again, now that it's closed, we can't take any additional testimony from the audience or online. You know, the only ones allowed to comment will be the board members, staff. Application V 2407 continued from August 13th. 15 Clinton Ave, request relief from zoning regulation, section 4.8.3 to allow for the enlargement of a building dedicated to the non-conforming residential use in the general commercial zone by the construction of a 14 by 24 addition and allow the expansion of a non-conforming use within. Property of Russell Palazzo and Wendy Marceau, application of Russell Palazzo and Wendy Marceau, assessors map 58, block 2, lots 41, GC zone.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Yours, Bob?
Okay,
Did
as
you,
I see it,
Hold,
I'm sorry.
made a motion to approve. If you want to put your stipulation in it, can you make your motion to approve? You were the one that asked about stipulations.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I need to amend my motion. Amend my motion to approve to include that the applicant, upon approval of this application, will advise workers to observe best that they can the deeded right of way that is shown on the property map as the owner had.
You okay with that, Dave?
I prefer not to, have that stipulation, so if somebody else would prefer a second.
Is that too specific?
I think that's outside the zoning, outside of our zoning, authority. rules.
Authority, ability, purview.
Purview.
I
I mean, they should do that. I just think it's outside of our,
Yeah, I kind of see it too. That's why I didn't do that.
okay, no, you just asked for it. I don't, I think it's too much. If you wanted to say screening or a fence, or you can do this or that, but I think you're putting something in that's almost unenforceable.
Okay.
Because who's to say
from the zoning board anyway.
from the zoning board, the police department or something, who's to say that guy is not going to the package store, the applicant said. I think it's,
Withdraw my amended motion.
go back to his first
my
one.
original motion. which was to
I second that.
Okay, all right, so now, yeah, I didn't want to make a motion to another motion afterwards. You did it.
It's me. You guys got a little. Yeah.
I have a motion made and seconded to approve. Your motion, you want to expand on it?
Yes.
State the hardship.
Yeah, the hardship being that this is a residential piece of property that's being developed within a commercial zone. And of course, the condition of commercial zone was developed through our zoning amendment process. So this created a restriction on this piece of property to do anything other than get a variance unless they were going to develop a commercial piece of property, which they are not. The size of the expansion is not excessive. It doesn't approach or infringe on any other setbacks that are unique to the property. So I see that the change of zoning from residential
They'll pick you up.
is what created the hardship for them to their property and make it larger.
I agree with everything. Said. It's already a non-conforming use. Expansion that they're requesting is very reasonable. The abutters concerns are hopefully they will work with their the owner will work with their neighbors so that they solve those issues. However, those issues are if this was going to be used for commercial, would actually even be more likely to be occurring. And so I don't see how they are have anything to do with this zoning variance. Because the commercial space typically would have like the package store, I'm sure is with the nips. We all experience nips everywhere. I can't imagine the package store is worse. So I'll be speaking for Ed.
No, I'm also in favor. It makes sense to me. The concern is that they work with the applicants and the CRF work together to try to limit the perceived issues as much as possible. Sounds like they so I'm all for it.
Dottie?
It appears like they'll work together, so it'll get done. Shouldn't be a problem. If he's got the right of way to put up the addition and the construction guys work together to do it, I'm sure. And it's not an extensive, big operation on the construction end of it. It's only about 200 square feet. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, I agree. I also will be in support of this. As I stated in the hearing, I think a lot of it is just neighbor relations. And as Dave said, if this were a commercial operation, the traffic could be greater, more people in and out, the volume, the noise that they're concerned about. And if you had me, I have no idea what's going on the site looking at the pictures, but if I were living in 672 square feet, I would have a 40-foot box trailer lined up for my stuff, never mind these two little trailers. So I'm kind of hopeful that as the expansion goes on, maybe these are being used for storage and out stuff that will land inside the house and we'll clean up that. But how he wants to keep his yard is kind of up to him. But I think 200 square foot addition is more than reasonable, so I also will be supporting that. So hearing everybody's opinions, all those in favor to grant, Dave? Aye. Bob?
Bob Phoenix, aye.
Ed?
And every back eye.
Dottie?
Dottie, I.
Mark Benjamin, aye. Unanimous, motion carries.
Thank you. This and board. Appeal period to everybody,
Okay.
everybody that's here. So if the variances are approved this evening, my duty or our duty is to prepare the notice to go into the newspaper. We try to get that done as quickly as possible, and hopefully by the end of the week, it's in the paper. There's a 15-day statutory appeal period where a variance can be appealed. I'll also be preparing notices that are filed in the clerk's office, and you'll receive those in the mail, registered mail. After that appeal period, there's a date on there when you can file it in the clerk's office, then the variance is valid. It's not valid until it's filed. And then after that, subsequent zoning permits and building.
Appeal 2408, 68 North Warwick Hill Road, request relief from zoning regulation, section 1.1. Reduce the front yard setback from 60 to 45. Construct a 20 by 39 addition to the rear of the home. Property of Tina Hagerman. Application Tina Hagerman, assessors map 82, block 1, lot 37. Zoning regulations are R8.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Sure.
Again, I feel, and I think we discussed this outside of this meeting at one time or another, that there should be allowances made for existing properties, a grandfathering of the conditions that are existing to be approved. So when zoning changes are made, such as going from whatever it was to either R40, which would have probably been still in compliance, to an R80, which pushed it out of compliance, that applicants would not have to come before the board for situations like this. So
A new station alert has arrived.
I feel the hardship that was created was through the zoning change and by no fault of the owner, and that their 15-foot reduction of the 60-foot setback is not excessive.
Actually, an improvement.
Yeah, I think so.
Ed?
No, I agree with everything. I think it will add some value to the house and be a nice addition to the problem.
Dottie?
Yeah, the owner should be able to have maximum use of their property. So therefore, regarding the problems that existed with the zoning that was mentioned before, they should be entitled for the expansion with no problem. Plus, they're only using primarily going into the backyard area, which is quite a bit of land in the rear of the property.
Dave?
Existing house is non-conforming. It's all, the addition is all on the back side. After it's done, it looks like actually at least a portion of it will be now conforming, ironically. Yeah, there's no way for them to add to the house without having variance.
No, I agree. We're all saying the same thing. We're requesting relief from a front yard setback. Put addition on the back of a house. The entire house sits within the front yard setback, so any addition would require variance. Therefore, the hardship is the house is existing in the front yard setback. So a reasonable use of the property would be to allow for an addition on the back. And the sad part is, to Bob's point, it's almost silly that an applicant has to spend this kind of time and money to put an addition on a back of a house. That hopefully can someday get a grant. So I also would support that. All those in favor of grant, Dave? Aye. Bob? Aye.
Aye.
Ed. Dottie.
I,
Mark Benjamin, aye. Unanimous. Carries. Station V09. V2409, 12 Mopsic Street, request from zoning regulation 1.1 to reduce the side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet, rear yard setback from 25 to 5, for the construction of a 24 by 24 garage. Relief of zoning regulation 1.1 to reduce front yard setback from 25 to 5 and rear yard setback from 25 to 5 for the construction of a 10 by 16 shed. Relief from section 1.1 to increase the total lot coverage from 15.12 to 26.75, where 25% is allowed. Property of John Hank, application John Hank, assessors map 109, block 3, lot 29, multifamily zone.
Motion to approve, Bob Phoenix.
Second.
Seconded by Ed. Bob, you're the guy.
Yeah, from what the applicant has, spoken to for the improvements he wants to, create on his own property, do not seem to, they would be detrimental to the character of the neighborhood. And the total coverage of the property is a reduction of 1.75%, which I know ideally we try to make sure that we stay within that 25%. However, it would be regardless of anything back there that would probably encroach upon that 25%. So the topography and the size of the lot really creates a hardship to improve the property as the applicant wishes. So to state that both of those are what I see to be the hardship: the topography and the size of the lot.
I agree with what Bob said, the size of the lot. It's on it basically. The existing location of the house also kind of puts limits on where you put things. Everything I was seeing if it would be reasonable to maybe have one building, we'd still end up more or less with the same non-conformance. Really, so I think their request is reasonable.
I'll also be voting in favor. I again agree with everything that's been already said. There's just so much that can be done here to add garage and shed. A little bit over the 25%, but minimally it's acceptable in my.
Dottie?
yeah, actually, the biggest issue is the topography of the property, which as a result cuts the size of the shed that you can put in. Unfortunately, that's the situation. So I agree with the others as far as what the statements were and what the other members mentioned. Plus, the gentleman's entitled to the use of his property as much as he can do, even on a 25% basis. Okay, so I will vote for it.
I also will be supporting it for the same reasons. I did try to look to see how we could make it. We had a lively discussion. A lot of things that made sense and don't make sense. I don't personally care for putting two buildings in. I think we're starting to overbuild the property. But we're talking about a property that's 0.15 acres. And with the cost of vehicles and lawnmowers and everything else, that is a reasonable. People need to have a shed. They need, having a car in a garage all makes sense. So although it's a slight increase on the area, I don't see a better way to accommodate this type of thing. So I will be supporting. And I agree. The location of the house, the patios, trying to move these garages or sheds really does not make sense.
Such a small lot.
With such a small lot. I mean, we're talking about a lot within the city. This is a city lot.
It is.
And we need to keep that in mind as we're trying to impose regulations for, Sixth Street, I work garages and sheds and everything else for all my stuff as well. And not saying anything negative, but
No, but you don't want it outside.
I don't want it outside for the weather and everything else.
I'd like
So,
to add, if I could, too,
Sure.
that based on the images we saw of the improvements that the applicant has already made, I don't see that these improvements will be any less quality. So, you know, I'm pretty confident that whatever we approve will be done with the utmost consideration of the aesthetics of the neighborhood.
all those in favor of grant?
Bob Phoenix, aye?
Ed,
Ed Everbeck, aye.
Dottie?
Dottie, I.
Mark Venture, and I, unanimous. That's impossible conditions. Staff updates? Nothing. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Bob Phoenix.
Ed, second. Meeting adjourned.